It's Christmas time. Oh, hello, everybody. I didn't see you there. I'm Chris Smith, and today we're doing our tops list. That's the top movies on my list for 2021. And we have a lot to cover tonight, so let's get started, shall we? Oh, by the way, this is the 8th edition. So, yes. Okay, starting with number 25. It's Respect, the Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson, Forrest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, and Audra McDonald. So, as we said, it's about Aretha Franklin. And oddly enough, it underperformed at the box office with just $31 million. And had about a budget of 55 million, and it was completely snubbed by the Academy Awards. So it didn't get any respect. That's why I thought I would put it in number 25 just to make it feel better, because it was pretty good. You all should see it. Okay, at number 24 is the documentary Rita Moreno, Just a Girl Who Decided to Go For It. This came out in June. It's, of course, about Rita Moreno, hence the title. And, she's had a 70-year career. She's 90 years old. She's a legendary EGOT winner. That's Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. And in 1962, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress as Anita in West Side Story. And she didn't make another movie for 7 years, so she had a hard time being typecast in stereotypical roles before that. And this is a fascinating documentary. You should all see it. Now, at number 23 is Lamb. Isn't that a beautiful poster? Now, Lamb is an Icelandic folk horror film, as they call it, about a farming couple whose sheep gives birth to a human sheep hybrid, who's mostly human, except for its head and right arm are lamb-like. Now, the couple decide to raise the child as their own, and much to the dismay of the sheep, and very strange things happen. The sheep that gave birth to the lamb, Ada didn't mind being raised by them because they were her parents, so she loved them. Now, it's a very creepy movie, and I didn't think it was going to be in my tops list, but it just stuck with me all year since I saw it. So that's a tops in my book. Now, at number 22 is Cinderella. This was on Amazon Prime, but it also played in some theaters. It is a retelling of the classic Cinderella story. It has Camila Cabello, Idina Menzel, Minnie Driver, Pierce Brosnan, and Billy Porter as the fairy godfather, or whatever they called him. And as required by movie musicals, James Corden appears, this time as a mouse. Now, it's a jukebox musical retelling, and it uses pop and rock hits. And I thought it was very effective. I thought it was very fun, I must say. Now, at number 21 is Candyman. Say it. You remember Candyman. It's started out as a 1992 horror movie, and this is the fourth in the Candyman series. Now, Candyman is the one that sort of haunted the Cabrini Green projects in Chicago. And legend has it that if you look in the mirror, now don't try this, if you look in the mirror and say his name 5 times, he'll appear and kill you. So don't anybody try that out there. It was very scary, I must say. And this one concerns a Chicago artist who is haunted by the legend of Candyman and his spirit. And it's connected to the first one, and Vanessa Williams, not Vanessa Williams from Desperate Housewives, but Vanessa Williams from Days of Our Lives and from Candyman. She's in it again. Yes, so I very much recommend Candyman if you like a good horror movie. Now, at number 20 on the list is Street Gang, How We Got to Sesame Street. It came out in May, and of course, it is a documentary about the creation of the beloved children's television program that started in 1969 and has educated and entertained kids with the help of Jim Henson's Muppets and human and celebrity guests alike. I always loved Sesame Street. Remember Mr. Hooper, Gordon, Susan, Maria. Oh, yes, everybody. I just loved everybody on that show. And this is a beautifully done documentary. You will cry. Bring tissues. Okay, now at number 19 is A Quiet Place Part 2. You know, A Quiet Place, and the tagline is, silence is not enough. A Quiet Place was such a good movie. The first one, it was a 2018 horror film with John Krasinski and his real-life wife, Emily Blunt, and it's written and directed by John Krasinski. And so this was the long-awaited sequel. It was supposed to come out in 2020, and it was coming out, I think it was scheduled for the end of March, and of course, there was a pandemic. I believe that A Quiet Place was one of the first things, or Quiet Place Part 2 was one of the first things that popped up on my phone as being canceled from its theatrical run. So, you know, they all started dropping out. No Time to Die, just all those things. And it was like, uh-oh, the whole movie industry is shutting down. So I always associate A Quiet Place Part 2 with the pandemic, and since it's post-apocalyptic, and in the movie, both movies, you have to be very quiet, or these creatures that we don't really know where they came from, maybe outer space, I don't know. If they hear anything, breaking glass, a scream, cries, they will come and get you. So, yeah, and they're already planning to make a third one, so that's very exciting. But you know, speaking of 2020 and 2021 and the pandemic, 2021 represents the movies coming back. Theaters reopened. Our theaters reopened in March of 2021. So this is one of my favorite years of all time because I thought this year had such good movies, and it was about hope, I think, just having the theaters reopen. Now, here's a movie that brought me great joy, but it was video on demand because the theaters were still closed. It's Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. Look how pretty that poster is. Yes, it came out in February of 2021, and it's at number 18 on my list. Now, Barb and Star, Annie Momolo and Kristen Wiig play best friends, Barb and Star, respectively. And they go on vacation to the Vista Del Mar resort, and they meet and romance Jamie Dornan's character, Edgar. Also on Del Mar is a pale-skinned supervillain, Sharon Fisherman, also played by Kristen Wiig, and she's plotting revenge on the people of Del Mar by releasing deadly mosquitoes on the town. And wackiness ensues, of course. It has a certified fresh score of 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Isn't that wonderful? So check out Barb and Star. It's almost like somebody smoked something and then made a movie. And I laughed so much. I saw it with Paolo, and then I bought it on Blu-ray. Okay, next up, at number 17 is On Broadway. This is a documentary. Gosh, I've had several documentaries this year. It's a documentary about Broadway, of course, and it's from Academy Award nominated director Oren Jacoby. It's about the Broadway community, which came back from the brink, not from the pandemic. That's touched on briefly at the very end, but this is about the deteriorating crime-filled Times Square of the 1970s and early 80s. It's about the AIDS crisis and what it did to the Broadway community, and the big British mega musicals that came and caused the ticket prices to soar. So it is a fascinating all-star documentary. You should check that out. And okay, this one is very special. At number 16 is Long Weekend. Now you may be like, I've never heard of Long Weekend. Well, it's special to me because it was my first movie back in the movie theater after they reopened. I saw it on Saturday, March 20th, 2021, which made it all the sweeter. But the movie, I was really surprised at how good it was. It's charming. It's a romantic sci-fi comedy about a depressed, down-on-his-luck writer who meets an eccentric woman who may or may not be from the future. And it stars Finn Wittrock and Zoe Chow. So check that one out. Long Weekend if you want a fun little movie. Now this one was originally on my list last year. Look who wanted to make an appearance and just say hello briefly. We call this a cameo. Okay, go play. Okay, so this was on my list last year, but it was technically a 2021 movie, and it is at number 15, The United States versus Billie Holiday. Now, it stars Andra Day, winner of the Golden Globe last year for Best Actress. And the reason I didn't put it on last year's list was because I was only doing the movies that came out in 2020. And remember, they had extended the period for movies since the Oscars came later because of the pandemic, and there just weren't as many movies. And I did not extend it. You had to be released in 2020 to be on last year's list. If you came out in February like this one did, then you had to wait till this year. And here she is. Billie Holiday is at 15. Now, I thought this movie was very good because it starts out with Billie Holiday, the famous singer, and she's being interviewed. Leslie Jordan plays the interviewer. And it's 1957. She's doing an interview, and then she flashes back to the 1940s, I think 1947, where she keeps getting into trouble for singing a human rights song called Strange Fruit, which is a very disturbing song, as it should be, about hanging people and lynching and people hanging in the trees. Oh, it's gut-wrenching. But Billie Holiday would get in trouble for singing this song, but she kept singing it. And it is a triumphant movie, and Andra Day does such an amazing job. I must say, it's directed by Lee Daniels. So, now at number 14 is No Time to Die. And this is, of course, a 007 James Bond movie. It's the 25th in the James Bond franchise, starring Daniel Craig in his 5th and final portrayal of the British MI6 agent. Rami Malek is the villain in it, and it's nominated this year for 3 Academy Awards: Best Original Song, the Billie Eilish song that I think it's called No Time to Die, Best Sound, and Best Visual Effects. Yes. Now, next is Licorice Pizza. You're like, why does that get a full-page ad? Because I just love this poster. It's so old school and fun. Now, Licorice Pizza is written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it has an all-star cast, but the stars of the movie are the young people, Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman. Now, I didn't realize until later that Cooper Hoffman is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. And so it's set in 1970 San Francisco, San Fernando Valley. Sorry, that's where I live. I don't seem to even know it. It's a coming of age comedy drama. Um, and it's around the time that there was the gas crisis. So it's very timely now since there's sort of a gas crisis again. It's nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay. Both of those for Paul Thomas Anderson. And of course, you remember he did Boogie Nights, which is one of my all-time favorites. So I saw it twice. I didn't like it the first time, and then I saw it with my friend Paolo, and everybody had been like, oh, you've got to see Licorice Pizza, and I was so looking forward to it, and then I just didn't get it. I was like, what's this about? It was sort of vignette type things. And then the second time, I liked it. I got it. So sometimes you need to give things a chance. Okay, now, next up at number 12 is Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up is the movie from Adam McKay. It's written and directed by Adam McKay. And it's an apocalyptic black comedy about 2 astronomers who discover a civilization-ending comet is coming toward the Earth to destroy us all. And nobody wants to listen to them. Isn't that always the way? Now, it has an all-star cast, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett. Everybody's in it. Jonah Hill. It's a very good movie. It's very funny. It's very disturbing. And it's nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Original Score, and Best Film Editing. And finally, at number 11 is The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Now, I loved The Eyes of Tammy Faye. When I was in school back in the 80s, Tammy Faye Baker, I just loved her. And Jim Baker, not as much. But Tammy Faye was just so fun, and she had all that makeup, and she had heart, and she cared about people, and you could tell. And now, this is based on the 2000 documentary of the same name, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And this film stars Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield as Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker, and follows their rise and their fall from their televangelist industry. And Jessica Chastain also was a producer on it, and this was like her passion project. And she did such a good job as Tammy Faye, and that makeup job, my goodness. It's nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Actress for Jessica Chastain and Best Makeup and Hairstyling, as it should be. And Jessica Chastain has won numerous awards, including a SAG Award for Best Actress for her role. So that is numbers 25 through 11. And in the second part, we're going to do the top 10. So won't you come back for that? Okay, see you then when it's Christmas time again.